Welcome to the XFO Intelligence podcast and our Family Office Complex Q series. So this is where we apply what we call the deep augmented thinking method to really analyze the most intricate questions, the really tough questions facing family enterprises and, founder-led organizations. Today, we're confronting a statistic that, while many leaders acknowledge it, but honestly very few have actually solved it. 86% of businesses lack a clear succession plan for key decision makers. And the question we get asked most frequently, it's not about the logistics, but the human element. It's always, how do we initiate this conversation with a founding patriarch or matriarch who just isn't ready to let go? And conventional wisdom, it just fails here. It treats this as a planning problem, right? Like a lack of timelines or legal documents. But that diagnosis it's so superficial. The resistance to succession, look, it's not a logistical failure. It is a psychological and a structural one. I mean, founders don't resist succession because they're stubborn. No, they resist because the organization they built is now, it's designed to require them. So to solve this, we have to stop asking founders to let go. Instead, we have to help them build something that doesn't require them to hold on. And this begins by understanding what we call the identity trap. For a founder, the business it's not merely an asset, it's an extension of the self. I mean, their identity, their purpose, their sense of security, it's all fused with their role as the central decision maker. So when an advisor suggests, exit, retirement, or replacement, what the founder often hears is a suggestion to diminish their worth. And that triggers an immediate psychological barrier. The solution, then, is to reframe the objective completely. The goal is not to remove the founder, it's to institutionalize their vision. The whole conversation has to evolve from who will replace you to a far more compelling engineering challenge. How do we make sure your values survive? How do we encode your decision-making logic into the company's DNA so it persists no matter who is in the room? This simple shift, it transforms the founder's role. They're no longer just the operator who's managing the machine. They're invited to become the architect who designs it for the future. You're asking them to solve their ultimate puzzle, and that satisfies their need for purpose while simultaneously reducing their operational burden. Which leads us to the system itself, the architecture of dependence. See, most founder-led organizations, they operate as a star network. Every critical decision, every relationship, every approval, it all flows through one central node, the founder. Now, in the early stages, this is a huge strength. It's fast, it ensures unity, but as the organization scales, it becomes a critical vulnerability. I mean, a star network is mathematically fragile. If that central node fails, or slows, or just gets overloaded, the entire system stalls. And this creates the indispensability trap. The founder works harder and harder to maintain control, which prevents the team from developing competence, which in turn increases the founder's anxiety, which then leads to even tighter control. It's just a self-reinforcing loop of dependence. Pivoting, breaking this cycle requires a topological shift. The organization has to evolve from that star network into a distributed web, where decisions are made closer to the information and multiple paths exist to get things done. And this is not achieved through some org chart rewrite. No, it happens by changing the physical flow of authority. Think about it. If every check, every email, every single hire still needs the founder's signature, the structure is still a star no matter what your governance documents say. So how do we rewire these daily flows? I mean, succession is so often treated as this big future event, but it's actually a micro-level process. It happens in daily interactions. Conversationally, when a team member asks, "What should we do?" and the founder answers, "Do this," dependency is reinforced. Simple. But what if the founder responds, "What do you recommend?" Autonomy is reinforced. To really accelerate this, we have to implement something called parallel pathing. So, for a defined period, key decisions are made independently by both the founder and the successor. Then they compare notes afterward. This does two crucial things. First, validation. It proves to the founder that the successor's decisions actually align with their values, and that builds trust. And second, practice. It lets the successor exercise judgment without immediate risk, and that builds competence. Biological networks, they don't heal by amputation, they heal by growing new tissue around a wound. Parallel pathing allows the new leadership structure to grow strong enough to bear the load before the founder steps back. This whole process, it builds trust trails. Trust in an organization, it behaves like a chemical trail. It's laid down by repeated successful actions. A successor can't build a strong trust trail with just one major victory. No, trust is built through volume. Leaders have to intentionally route specific categories of decisions exclusively to the successor. And when employees see that this new path gives them speed and clarity, they naturally start to favor it. This creates a positive feedback loop. It's beautiful, really. As the successor makes more decisions, their competence grows. As competence grows, the founder's anxiety goes down. As anxiety decreases, the founder delegates more. This is the legacy validation loop, and it's the only sustainable engine for transition. Finally, we have to address the founder's primary fear, the fear of blindness. If I'm not approving every decision, how do I know the company is safe? Conventional succession asks them to trust people. A much more effective approach is to ask them to trust data. Give the founder a new sensory organ, a legacy dashboard. Instead of getting requests for approval, which just triggers anxiety, the founder gets reports on alignment. This dashboard shouldn't show pending decisions. It should show things like values adherence, cultural metrics, strategic alignment. This lets the founder maintain visibility without retaining control. They can see the ship is steering true without needing to hold the wheel. The transition of power is the ultimate test of a founder's work. If the business collapses without them, it was never a sustainable enterprise. It was just a job. Successful succession is not about the founder leaving. It is about the founder completing their design. It's the shift from being the engine of the company to being the guardian of its code. By focusing on system architecture and these daily interaction patterns, founders can achieve what feels impossible, staying deeply connected to their legacy while freeing themselves from the operations that sustain it. The goal is not to plan for the founder's exit. The goal is to build an organization that is ready for their immortality. Thank you for joining us on the XFO Intelligence podcast. If this analysis resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if your family or your organization is wrestling with a complex problem that requires a deeper level of thinking, we invite you to reach out. Our email is xfointelligence@gmail.com.